Ebube is here to talk about what he considers to be the most important plant in the world and shed some insights on its uses. With a speech entitled The Most Important Plant on the Planet, it's Ebube!
I've got cannabis on me, but please don't call the police. 2 years ago, I underwent a surgery on my arm. And after the surgery, I was given some prescription medicines to ease the severe pain I was going through. But I wasn't reacting well to these medicines. I spent most of the day sleeping. And when I was awake, I felt drowsy, looking forward to going back to sleep. Ultimately, I felt like a sloth. After 1 week of taking these medicines, I felt like I had enough and I needed an alternative. And suddenly I had an epiphany about a documentary I had watched a couple of years ago about a little girl called Charlotte who was diagnosed with a rare and severe type of epilepsy. Charlotte was having 300 grand mal seizures a week. But with the use of cannabis, it had reduced to 4 to 5 grand mal seizures a month. In the documentary, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who's a neurosurgeon and a journalist, spoke about how cannabis helps reduce pain perception with the aid of an endocannabinoid system in our body. The goal of the endocannabinoid system is to create what is known as homeostasis. This helps maintain a stable internal environment despite fluctuation in the external environment. So my brother and I went on a quest to find this amazing plant. And we found it. And I took the first hit. And then the second. And the third. By the fourth one, I had a rush of euphoria all over my body. And I asked myself, how can something so wrong make me feel so right? After 1 week of living like a sloth, I was now able to do the things I wouldn't normally do on the prescribed medicines, like take a walk in the park, go swimming, and so many other activities. And particularly, my family would ask me, are you still taking the medicines? And I would say, no, I'm fine now, I feel a lot better. And out of love and care, my mom would say, Bube, you need to take the medicine just like the doctor prescribed. And I would say, Mom, but when you see me right now, what do you think? She said, I noticed of recent, you've been eating a lot more, and you seem a lot more happier. You've been laughing a lot more. I said, there you go. Now you see it. So, well, turns out, according to BBC, cannabis is one of the 7 most sacred plants on the planet. It's been known for thousands of years to connect with the divine. On this plant, it's almost like there's a separation between who you are, who you think you are, and you're present as the observer. Now I've spoken to you about the medicinal and psychoactive effects of this plant. I'd like to talk to you about the industrial effects. Cannabis has over 50,000 uses. Listen closely. Anything cotton, timber, or petroleum can do, cannabis can do it better. Henry Ford once made a car out of cannabis, powered by cannabis fuel. And here's a quote by Henry Ford which says, "Why use up the forests which were centuries in the making, and the mines which required ages to lay down, if we can get the equivalent of forest and mineral products in the annual growth of the cannabis fields?" This jacket and hat and t-shirt that I'm wearing today are all made out of cannabis. It requires 50% less water to produce than cotton, and also no pesticides were used, while 25% of the world's pesticides are used to grow cotton. Lastly, I would like to leave with a quote by Jack Herer which says, "I don't know if cannabis is going to save the world, but it's the only thing that can." Thank you very much.